But I'm not sure what the organization is doing.
They do NGO development. They work UNICEF, USAID.
I know the previous director of statistical office. She was a lady. It was very good. Yes. Wow.
Куда did you want to Zurich?
Okay. Yeah.
Ще not in Houston. Sonra BBM.
Darumatia.
Motivate at the stop, okay?
Ready to start? Good morning to everyone. I am Milva Economi. I'm coming from Agenda Institute, that is a think tank in Albania, working mainly in Tirana and then in some other areas of the country. We have a problem with the laptop and the presentation, so I will go slide by slide. You cannot see the big screen because the computer is not functioning very well, but we will manage to do our conversation like this. So when the guys of MIAFT called me for this presentation, and then they discuss about this event and about the IC tools that they would like to bring in the attention of the event. In fact, I was a little bit skeptic because as agenda we cannot present a lot regarding ICT, what kind of ICT tools we are using, but as agenda we can present the final product, disseminate through ICT tools. So, and then I said that, okay, I can find the approach to come here. And also there is another situation that is important to be shared, that this activism through IT platform in Albania is recent. Maybe from some other countries it's a little bit more developed, but in Albania it's very recent. So First of all, I would like to share with you the history of Agenda and why we have created Agenda as a think tank in 2006, at the middle of 2006, because we thought that in this public space that is in Albania, we can bring some findings, research, analysis, able to better understand the public policy. And from the other side, we would like to create in the country some possibility for a public debate regarding the issue related with economic and social development, good governance, European integration. And also we would like to bring this attention to some levels, not only to the local, not only to the central level, but also to the local level, and to create possibility for opinion, debate, and focusing more on the group of interest. And then a part of IC tools, and then the second approach is to see how the local budget was monitored. I thought that maybe the idea that we can share together as an experience of Agenda can be focused into main approach. The first approach was that Agenda, as through several donors, have tried to help local government to find out what are the potential development factors in the given territory, and how these potential factors can be used to increase their own incomes. And also the other approach that Agenda has considered was to create some local settings to better use the own resource of the local government. And this kind of exercise has been done in more than 1/3 of the municipality of the country. So we have worked during this period a lot. And also we have used not only the findings that we found ourselves, but also we have used the experience that has been created in the country from other type of donors, especially those instruments that the World Bank or other main global institutions has bring in the country. One of the projects that we have done recently is a project in a city, in a municipality called Kabaya, and this was more focused on the improvement local settings. And the idea was to help them in all the process of budgetary participatory, because this will help the citizen of the given area to take part in all the debates, and also to take part in the better allocation of funds. This will help to increase transparency, accountability, and also will bring some more incentive in the social inclusion at the local government. And also citizens can have a better understanding for their own living and neighborhood. Then for us it was very important to see all the citizen engagement in all the budget cycle, and for that we have done some work that are linked with these steps, that are identifying capital investment, preparing feasibility studies, preparing budget proposal, overseeing the budget, monitoring the execution of the budget, monitoring procurement, and monitoring evaluation. But in all this process, what we have done is that, in fact, maybe this is not a new thing, because mainly some of you have passed through this experience, but you need to do a kind of work that is very locally oriented, in the sense that you have to find out where are the local group of interest, what was the experience that they have done so far, how the budget of the previous year has been allocated, what you can do better, what are the needs of the citizens, and for all this you have to create a continuous debate with the local people. And the problem is that you have to engage in this debate people from all the geographical areas. It's not only linked with the center, people living in the main area of the city, but you have also to consider the very how to say, focal geographical points, and then you have to bring them in the discussion. Another thing is that is very important is that you have to try to create some mechanism that can be built there. For example, for us in Kavaya case, the most important thing was the setting up of a citizen budgetary board. That this means a lot of training for all the people that were there. So you have to train people that are eager to do this kind of work, and also are eager to monitor continuously the budget of their local territory. But you have to have a good understanding of the legislation that is in the country, and this good understanding that you have need to be transmitted in a very easy language for those kind of people participating in the budgetary board. Another thing that we have tried to do with the Kavaya case was that we have created a website. The website will be operational by the end of this month, regarding all the needs that the citizen in the city has for the public investment. And the other thing that we are going through is the documentation of the work we have done so far. Then another approach we have found out in this budgetary participatory thing was the SWOT analysis done for 13 municipalities in the country. And this was a project that was multiplied through Palm support. And by SWOT, you all know what SWOT means, but we have considered this as a kind of analysis for the local territory. And we have seen through this what are the strengths and advantages in a given municipality, what are the weaknesses, what are the opportunities that a city can exploit, and also what are the threats. And in the moment that we start, it was the year 2008 up to today, and in the country there's been a lot discussed about EU integration, bringing the EU to the local governance. So for some areas, we have considered very much the EU approach to certain EU policies. But it was not that easy, this kind of approach, because for people at the time, the most important thing was visa liberalization. So you start the process, but the mind of the people was not there. And then you have to be very, okay, you have to a little bit to change from your first objective, because you understand that this is not the case. What we have learned from these two types of approach. So in the first approach, as I told you, is that we consider the local setting and then we improve those through participatory budget. And we have seen that, in fact, we are threatened by a narrow scope because the civic education is not present in the area. And you have to do a lot of work to help people to understand it. We have seen that the local governmental staff must disclose the information that sometimes is so close they don't like to share with the other, and so you have to push them to raise the expectation from the population in the area. You have to help with the campaign, so you have to use all the type of civil societies, organizations that are in the territory, like for example youth, women, intellectuals, people that have a common problem, and you have to make it more participatory. Then in some cases you have also to avoid the cope with the local government and the civil society, because sometimes you can see that people are afraid about this kind of behavior. That they are afraid that if we prioritize a given objective, this is too much in line with a given NGO, and they are afraid to say, to have a word. So you have to be very careful about that. And then it is very important to see if the local government have enough capacity, enough human resources to devote it to the budgetary participatory budget. Because sometimes you have small local governments that they cannot do all this type of work. They are overloaded. So this is to be considered, and sometimes You have to take over their responsibility, but you have to do it very carefully. Then also something that we have seen is the tension between elected representatives. You have a problem that those that are elected people that are participating in the council, in the moment that they face the public, and then they cannot offer to the public the request that the public present to them. They fear to lose power, and sometimes you are not supported by them because they have this kind of fear. And then you have a problem of sustainability because sometimes in this budget participatory, the agendas are very narrow, related with the political agendas of the given moment, of a given political force. So you have to create to the public over there this the trust that the political agenda is not interfering in this given moment, because you are supporting some of the very public needs that they have, like for example water, like for example road, like for example social center, like for example struggling against corruption. So you have to discuss with them this kind of thing. When we have done SWOT analysis, we have seen this kind of things, and for me those are the more important notes. That one thing in the SWOT analysis is that you need a good information sources. So it's very crucial to have data that do represent the present and the past of the municipality. And also you have to have a good understanding of the traditional and the historical knowledge of the area. And then you have to know very well the geographical structure, because the geographical structure of the area can help still to see where the underserved communities are, because investments are not there. So it's very important this. It's important to have a cooperation with local authorities, because we can understand the economy of scale, we can understand the reduction of cost in planning, we can see where are the synergies between the local priorities and national or regional sector policies. Then you have to propose a strategic development or a subsector strategic development. It's very difficult, because you can arrive to this conclusion through your knowledge. So it's your hypothesis that you build up. And when you are ready for that, you need a very wider consensus with all the actors in the area. It is very important to have in place a result-based management concept, because this will allow the project you are proposing to have a kind of continuous monitoring performance of the strategic objectives. And also it's very important to give some space to new technologies and creativities. And for us, we have seen that a part of the initiative that can be coming from NGOs, coming from group of interest, also the local authorities must have a space in their public investment program for these new technologies. And like this, they can give incentives, and also they can create a wider possibility for the labor market. In fact, when we have proposed this SWOT analysis, we have helped the regional communities to put those kind of things in their websites. Sometimes we found municipalities with no website, so we helped them to create their own website. A simple one, a very modest, because this needs to be managed by them. But in the moment that the website was ready, we placed the analysis in their website. For the city of Cabaya, we've seen an experience in some of the Nordic countries, and so we created this web that will be ready for them by the end of the month, when infographs and info maps are ready. So you can make some simulation of the data. If you are entering some data on the budget, then immediately you can see how much kilometers you can do, how much people you can employ in a given sector. So even the population of the region can be very attracted by this type of ICT tools and ICT gains. So this was the the idea. We are not so innovative in this kind of thing, but we hope that in the future we will be, as there are some conditions in the country right now, so we have more spread information technology. Albania is very low in this kind of infrastructure development, but it is more spread, and this some hopes. And also there is increased interest to use the resources for a better life in the neighborhood, and this is a kind of awareness increase from the side of the population. So this is what we have done so far. We have helped them to better budget their needs and their neighborhood, and also we have helped in making some sort of analysis by finding the strength of the city and using this opportunity. This kind of findings are also in their websites. Thank you. Open for questions after other presentations. Yes?
Just have a quick question. What does C stand for in ICT?
Communication.
Communication. Okay,
Information communication technologies.
There are the municipality capacities to already in place to deal with such with ICT, for example?
In Kavaya, for example, yes. In Kavaya, there we have had, but we thought, for example, in Saranda, that we can do a lot of things because we thought that Saranda is so open to another country, in the border with Greece, so they have a lot of exchange, and in fact, it was not so true, because you have a very small staff over there, and they are overloaded with their work, and so the municipality is not that much open to hire some NGOs to do their work on ICT. In Kavaya, it was another reality. We have had a lot of problem with Lushnia, for example. With Lushnia, there are names of municipality of Albania. With Lushnia, we have had difficulties, especially to collect information, because you can come up with the flagship, which will be the future of this municipality. What kind of area, sector, subsector, product they have to develop. In Lushnia, it was so difficult to collect information from municipalities, and we use other sources. So we get contact with people we know, NGOs we know, association we know at the local territory. And it was not that it, because you see Lushnia in the flat area of Albania, and you can imagine that agriculture and then construction can be the future of the area. It was not so true. It was not so true. So there are situations that you need to deal very carefully. And your question is a good one. Are there capacities? Yes and no. But one thing, it's not linked with directly with that, but one of the things that I have experienced in my work is we've done another project. It's called EMIS. So we have a pilot idea for UNICEF to see education monitoring system in 2 areas of Albania, in 3 mainly, but Tirana was a small pilot. In Kukas, in north, in Korça, that is southeast of Albania, and in Tirana. And okay, so this EMIS is aiming to monitor the indicators of Education for All initiative. It is a global one, linked with MDGs. And in fact, when we arrived in Kukas, there was no internet at schools, even that it was the internet education everywhere proclaimed by the government. There was no internet. The teachers were not able to use computers, so you are aiming to do something for the good of the community, but you see that the skills are not there. So, in fact, the project takes some time because you have to start installing the computer, training the teacher, installing the program, and making the program. We have used the open data source system so that we can control immediately what was going on in the area. It was not the same case in Korça when we start, but in Korça it was a problem of internet connection. due to lack of electricity. And so this was another one. So the program started to run, but immediately it was a crash. And we have to start over again. So there are some infrastructure problems that we faced in the past, hoping that this will be not part for the future, but in fact we have faced those problems. Okay, but don't worry.
Maybe the situation will be improved through the project on Albania, Digital Albania. Maybe
Yeah,
it
so-
will have some.
No, it's in fact it's going.
This joke is very only for Albanians. The others will not understand.
No, but we have to be optimistic on that because new technologies. Okay, we are in an area of globalization, and new technologies are part of this. So
Will come by force.
yeah.
Who's next?
Any questions from Eva? If not, then we can pass the floor to Clotilda Ferhati from Balkan Youth Link Albania.
Okay, hello to everybody. My name is Clotilda Ferhati. I am a lawyer. I'm representing here Balkan Youth Link Albania, which is an organization with the aim of promoting young leaders in the country and creating possibilities for them to have links with mates all over the region and Europe and in the world. Our organization is working since 2001 in the field. I am a board member of the organization. It was wholly established by young people at 2001. Now they are not so much young anymore. They are professionals in different fields in Albanian society and are continuing to uphold the same aim and purposes the ex-founders did have when Balkan Youth Link was established. The main purpose is to keep alive extracurricular activities for young people who wish to be future leaders, not only in the political aspects, but in other aspects, in order to find new information and new values in these extracurricular activities rather than the ones learned in schools. One of the main, let's say, pillars of the organization is organization of the debate program, which is a program for promoting dialogue and critical thinking to young people, and as well as simulation of international decision-making modules such as NATO model or UN model. And lately we have started to work as well with the European Union model. Activism is one of the most important pillars of the organization as well, and promoting youth activism is one of the basic issues we train and we promote to young people during our work. In terms of activism, the young people that have been associated at Balkan Youth Link Albania have been in 2009 included and involved in a national project for monitoring media during the election campaign of 2009 in the Silence Day. The Silent Day is one day prior to the election day and one day after the election campaign, in which all the political parties, political subjects, and media as well should be silent and say no political news and make no advertisement and no news for the political parties. Why we have chosen to do media monitoring is because the Albanian Electoral Code provided and provides still, the clauses are the same even today we are speaking, that media should be impartial in broadcasting the political news to political parties, to political subject individuals, and as well to the advertisement for both, for all the sides in political life. This is a very important element which comes as a base for, let's say, a freedom of media to be impartial, not only during its everyday life, but as well during the election campaign and election silence day. Because we all know that many of the individuals, it's not that do attend political parties' events during an election campaign. Individuals mostly do hear about the political programs or the candidates of the political parties during the broadcasting and airtime given to them in the television, media and press. To that extent, it is very important that media is impartial and fair in providing information for all the political actors, and not only in terms of timing, but in terms of quality. That's why, at the time, we were a group of lawyers and journalists, all ex-members of Balkan Youth Link Albania, and people working and associated with the association, together with another organization, Youth Group of Human Rights, we decided to do a media monitoring. Need AC help to open this one? I want to tell you today how we start, what we did, and what were the results. I couldn't prepare some slides for presentation because there is a lot of information in the reports and I want to show them all. So I started with an Annex C of the report because it provides for what we have done, how we have gone along with the monitoring, and what kind of methodology we used. In 2009, it was very interesting. We were all not very well informed about the information technologies. And what we thought to do at the time was to be very mechanic. So we decided to register all the medias we wanted to monitor. And we started to cooperate with an internet cafe, which was near our office. We bought, according to our experts' advices, we bought some mechanisms that could transfer the TV signals to internet show, and they were registered from 9 in the morning until 24 hours at 9. We have chosen at that time to monitor 10 televisions. I will tell you. It was the public national television. It was National TV Clan, Top Channel, News 24, Ora News, Vision Plus, Koha, Nacer, Ani, Mediasat. Okay, I have to say them in Albanian because these were the television we monitored, and we had as well 4 weekly newspapers. The object of monitoring has been the electoral political news, TV debates, and special programs on electoral and political events, and political parties' advertisement. Why we have chosen to monitor these kind of activities? Because the 3 of these were provided by the Electoral Code of Albania as obligation for the media actors to be balanced in broadcasting and airtime for all the political actors that were involved in the electoral campaign. Not only, as I said before, in terms of timing, but even in the quality. And when I say quality, it means what is the opinion of the speaker presenting the news? What is the tone of the speaker? What kind of words is using the speaker for one party or for one candidate versus the other one? So in order to see the negative of the positive comment made by the media, the team to do this, a part of our technical team that were IT people and electronic engineers who helped us with the transforming system from TV into internet, was a tool of 30 monitors, and we had 3 monitors for each TV, and they divided the day in 3 parts. Say it in let's say more concrete details, we have chosen to register, as I said before, all the day TV's program, and each monitor took the CD one day after, and he did matching in time of all the object of our monitoring. So it was like you are matching with a chronometer how much airtime is given to a news, and for every news they have compiled this kind of table. I'll show it after, but the table is, here you have the name of the political subject. First you write which is the TV you are monitoring, the political subject, in which time is the news being broadcasted, what is the airtime given, what is the object of the news broadcasted, who is the political actor being showed in the news, if there are other transmitted. For example, if there was the Prime Minister Berisha, there should have been any other member from the Democratic Party. You have to sign if the person was there or if there was no person there. This is the kind of activity transmitted, so where it is transmitted, it is an electoral campaign meeting or it is a public debate, etc. And then you give your comments on the quality for the comments given by the speakers, and as well in the quality of the technical news, let's say, because at that time we noted that some parties did have news in very high quality, some others didn't have a good quality. This happened because many of the electoral events were registered by their own political parties, and they broadcast and they forwarded the CDs to the TV speakers, and they did the news. So the journalist was not there individually, because during the electoral campaign, of course, there is a huge amount of events, and our, let's say, media actors were not able to attend all the activities. After this manual was compiled by our monitors, there were 5 coordinators. Each of them was covering 2 TVs, and they were processing the data in another form, which were the base for compiling the report. We did 4 weekly reports. I'm passing what I said. So we did 4 weekly reports for each, because the electoral campaign is developed in 4 weeks. So we did 1 report for each week. We did 1 report for the Silence Day, and then we did the final one. The final one, I'm going to show it later on. The political parties that were involved in the monitoring, it's a list of 24, 25, if I'm not wrong. And they were all the political parties registered at that time as political subject within the Central Election Committee. In addition, in order to be fair, because we were understanding that our methodology was not a professional one, even it was very much near to the reality, because we were controlling every second, every minute with our people and with a chronometer, we at the time entered into an agreement with a media company who had special apparatus for monitoring the televisions and for measuring the airtime. And before giving a final form to our weekly reports, we always compared their data with ours. And we saw that the mistake margin of ours was not more than 3%. So we didn't change our reports. We just double-checked with the other, let's say, with the other company that was doing it for business reasons, because it was selling the reports to political parties and media actors. This was very important at that time, because as it was an obligation for media to respect the law on fair and equal transmission to the political parties, failure to apply this clause, it was followed by sanctions that has to be applied by Central Election Committee to the media actors. The fines were not of, let's say, substantial amount for the medias, and we know that in Albania there is a problem of clientelist media who were not really much concerned about paying the fines because they had their aim to transmit one political candidate or other more than the others. And at that time, the Central Election Committee established its own advisory board on media monitoring, and they did a kind of methodology with the National Authority for Television, Regulatory Committee on Television, who did also the same as we did, but more professionally with their apparatus and mechanisms as well. And we have compared our data with the data of the report on Central Election Committee, and unfortunately we saw that there were some priorities different than ours given to their report. So I mean, if the difference or the default by the media actors in our reports was higher, and some media actors in the report of the Central Election Committee report, it was different and it was lower, which created rooms for debate during donors, because we did this report upon the partnering with the Netherlands Embassy in Albania. And the idea at the beginning was to deliver it to all the international donors, OSCE ODIHR at the time, and as well to the Central Election Committee, in order to help them to improve their work and to double check their results. And at the end, this report was published in order to see that if media has been compliant to the law and if Central Election Committee was compliant to the law. We had, I don't know, maybe Yona will explain more, we had a lot of pressure from many political parties on the results, etc. But at the end, we published the results of our monitoring as they were. So there was no change in our results. Differently, as the other reports, we saw that there were changes a lot. Having said that, I want to just go through our final report. We'll just go to the slides. I will just give you 2 or 3 examples. I'm having here the monthly monitoring results of Albania National Television. If you see in figures, the table was drafted as such. So we wanted to know the number of news edition monitor, time of political news monitor, time of political debates, special editions, time of political advertisement. These were very important because the advertisements were having messages to brainwash people and not respecting the time in equal form. It was like favorizing a subject more than the other. If you see, this is the first graphic. This is in the newscast, which was the airtime granted to the political parties. If you see, Democratic Party in the national television had 683 minutes compared to Socialist Party, who had 452 minutes. The justification from the television was that it was given airtime to other subjects, political one, who were in alliance with the Socialist Party, so the time was compensated. Indeed, it's not as such, because even the allies of Democratic Party had their time, and there was a mislevel between the time. So it was not a equally fair division of airtime. If we go to the, because the same, let's say, graphic, we had it for special edition and advertisement, but I don't want to take any more time. I'm just having a general overview, which more or less is what I told you. I'll go to another television now. I'll go to Top Channel. This is how the time was divided to political parties in the newscast. And if you see, there is a slight difference between Democratic Party and Socialist Party. Still, the Socialist Party in top channel got 30 minutes more. It was as well shown during the monitoring activity that the top channel had favorized the Socialist Party more than the other political subject during the election campaign, not only in the newscast, but as well as in the debates, in the political debates.
So, which was the ruling party by the time?
Democratic Party. We are having Democratic Party as the majority force in Albania since 2005. 2000.
Yes.
Let me give you an example of advertisement. If you see, we are still at top channel. We are having Socialist Party having 1 minute more, but the balance here, okay, 1 minute was not a high difference. And then we did not only advertisement, newscast and public debate, but as well political leaders' time granted. If you see at top channel, Mr. Berisha had more airtime given in political news, and this happened because during the election campaign, Mr. Berisha was not published as the Democratic Party leader, but as well as the Prime Minister. So, but we have included it in the time for political party because it is provided in the electoral code that the